Good evening and welcome to the council meeting for Monday, September the 8th, 2025. Please rise for the playing of the national anthem and a moment of reflection.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command.
Car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits.
God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated. At this time, I will look to Councillor McPherson to read the land acknowledgement.
The land on which council meets today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabeg, and Attawandaronk, and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nations peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many Indigenous peoples made up of First Nation, Inuit, and Métis. The Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement should remind us of our responsibility to ensure the Dish, the territories on which we live and work, is never emptied, and that we take care of the land and its inhabitants in a way that ensures its future sustainability.
Thank you, Councillor McPherson. We will get started with the mayor's report, and tonight we will begin with a special presentation, so I'm just going to walk down to the lectern. There we go. I'd like to start by welcoming Mark Ryan up to the front. Mark Ryan is a local boxer from the St. Catharines Boxing Club who recently won a bronze medal at the 2025 Under-17 Canadian Boxing Championships. Mark has fought in 15 bouts, has posted an impressive 13-2 record, and in addition to his bronze medal at the Canadian Championships, he also won the gold medal at the Brampton Cup, a tournament which has over 700 boxers entered. Mark's skills in the ring must be in the genes, as he is one of 5 Ryan brothers who have all medaled at the Canadian Boxing Championships. And not only is Mark a standout in the ring, but he is also a straight A student at Holy Cross Secondary School. So tonight, I want to give congratulations to Mark, and we look forward to seeing all that you accomplish in your future. I also want to say a thank you and congratulations to Coach John Robertson, who is with Mark tonight. So round of applause for Mark. And I do have a certificate. I was telling Mark a little bit about my own boxing history. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but this is an excellent opportunity to remind Councillor Matt Harris that my boxing career started and ended with him in the ring when he gave me a concussion about 11 years ago with a single punch. It was when he was in shape. I don't think I'd have to worry about these days, but I'm pretty sure if I had to get into the ring with you, I'd send a ringer. It would be Mark, and he would light you up like a Christmas tree. Anyways, with that, as I said, I do have a certificate. From Mayor Matt Cisco, Council and the citizens of St. Catharines, presented to Mark Ryan on behalf of the City of St. Catharines and the members of Council. We extend our congratulations to Mark Ryan on his outstanding achievement at the U17 National Boxing Championships, where he earned a bronze medal. Mark's dedication and performance are a source of pride for our community, and his accomplishment marks a significant milestone as he becomes the 5th member of the Ryan family to medal at the national level. We are proud to recognize the achievements of our local athletes, and we thank Mark and the entire boxing community for representing St. Catharines with excellence and spirit. Signed this day, September the 8th, 2025. Bring your coach up? All right, coach, come on up. Council's demanding it, and I'm not allowed to say no. We need a motion. Okay. There we go. One of my favorite parts of the job, and I'm glad we started doing that again. So. All right. We do have a number of other items to get through in the mayor's report tonight, so I will try to be as quick as I can. I did want to start with condolences this evening. With heavy hearts, we mourn the passing of Kevin Boyes, a former St. Catharines firefighter who passed away on August 24th. Kevin was also well known as a dedicated volunteer in the rowing community and will be greatly missed by all those who knew him. On behalf of council and city staff, we offer our deepest sympathies to Kevin's family and friends. Some news and updates that we can move on to. The Minto Cup finished up. Congratulations to the organizing committee and all of the volunteers for hosting a great event. And congratulations to the Coquitlam Adanacs for taking home the Minto. It was a fantastic final game of the championship and really great to see high quality lacrosse being played once again here in St. Catharines. Also, congratulations earlier this month to the Niagara River Lions, who took home their 2nd consecutive CEBL championship, defeating the Calgary Surge on championship weekend. Congratulations to all players, coaches, and staff, and a special shout out to the reigning St. Catharines Sportsman of the Year, Coach Victor Rasso, on leading his team to victory once again. The city is proud of you, and we can't wait to raise another banner to the rafters in the Meridian Center next summer. Congratulations to Diana Abu Asale and Faraz Al-Tual on the grand opening of Sultan's at their new location, 224 Glenridge in the Glenridge Plaza. This family-run business has a menu that features classic, authentic recipes from all over the Mediterranean region. Everything from shawarma, grilled kebabs, salads, warm wraps, and house dips. Their menu is perfect for a quick lunch or a delicious catering spread. Be sure to leave room for the desserts as well. Thank you to Diana and Faraz for investing here in St. Catharines. I look forward to my return visits. And I should also say congratulations to them. They raised thousands of dollars on their opening day for a sick kids hospital in Toronto. It was great to see the community out on a beautiful Labor Day Monday at the annual Labor Day Parade. Thank you to everyone who donated food and loose change to support community care. And thank you to the Meriton Lions for putting on a great weekend of events for our community. I will give a special thanks. I know Councillor Mako walked with us with the community care group. Councillor Harris walked with us with the community care group. Councillor Phillips walked with us for the community care group. And then Councillor Lindell was there as well. Oh, Councillor McPherson, sorry, I looked right past you. Councillor McPherson also collected food and money. Councillor Dodge was in the parade, and Councillor Stevens was in the parade as well. He was driving a car, says his knee doesn't work or something. We all kind of gave him grief for that, as we'd like to do. Councillor Miller's not here, but yes, Councillor Miller walked with us as well. He's on Zoom, yes, no, and shout out to Councillor Miller's kids as well. They were great entertainment, and Councillor Mako's kids were in the parade. It was fantastic. It's just fun to be out in Meriton with the whole community. Oh, and Councillor Ratzlaff was there as well. How am I forgetting? So almost all of us. Okay, that was a good day. I think I may have made a joke at one point that we couldn't be in the same place at once because we might have quorum. So I did make that joke. It was a good day. Last week, in my role as the chair of the Niagara Transit Commission, I was pleased to be joined by MP Biddle, Ministers Prabmeet Sarkaria, and Minister Sam Osterhoff to announce that Niagara Transit is receiving a major investment of more than $128 million from the Government of Canada, the Government of Ontario, and the Niagara region to refresh its transit fleet and improve public transit across our city and region. I look forward to continuing to work together to build the 21st century transit network our residents deserve. And because I'm talking about transit, I will take this opportunity to thank Councillors Dodge and Ratzlaff for all the work that they do on the Transit Commission for the City of St. Catharines. This past weekend, I was pleased to join the St. Catharines Game and Fish Association at their annual Kids Summer Derby. Congratulations to all of the winners, and thank you to all of the volunteers for hosting a great event for the kids. A special shout out to all of the kids in the Townsend clan who reminded me repeatedly that Kevin is their uncle. And that was a lot of fun. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of attending the annual Easter Seals Regatta at the Dalhousie Yacht Club with Councillors Mako and Williamson. This event brings together families, volunteers, and supporters for a day of celebration and inclusion. The regatta features both powerboats and sailboats and offers Easter Seals, children, and their families the opportunity to enjoy a scenic lunch cruise aboard participating vessels. Thank you to the Dalhousie Yacht Club and Easter Seals for another amazing event this year. After the regatta, I headed over to the annual Super Walk at the Grantham Lions Club in support of Parkinson research. The Super Walk is a celebration of resilience, community, and hope, empowering individuals to live well with Parkinson's and raising awareness across the country. Congratulations to the organizers, the volunteers, and the participants. The Super Walk has raised $45 million over the years, which is absolutely fantastic across the country. Earlier this month, I was honored to be joined by some incredible childhood cancer survivors and their families to raise the Childhood Cancer Awareness flag at City Hall. This event serves as a powerful reminder of the courage, the resilience, and the strength of children and families affected by childhood cancer. And I want to say thank you to Patty Bauer, the founder of Making More Miracles, for organizing this event. I recently had the opportunity to visit Chris at Mindbomb Records to celebrate 10 years in business. Mindbomb Records is located at 47 James Street and is known as Niagara's best independent record store for new release and reissued vinyl. They also have CDs because apparently CDs are making a comeback. If you haven't visited this gem in our downtown, do so today. True to form, I did not walk away empty-handed. I now have another Snoop Dogg vinyl to add to my collection. I will also take a moment to thank my oldest son, Xavier, as he is, I'm pretty sure, keeping Mindbomb Records in business. Last week, I was pleased to meet with Alex and Kat Seaborn, the husband and wife team behind the newly opened restaurant Kaplan at 31 James Street. With only 11 seats and a 7-course fish-focused tasting menu, Restaurant Kaplan is a true gem in the heart of St. Catharines, celebrating Niagara agriculture alongside Canada's coastlines, all with a thoughtful, minimal waste approach. We're proud to see innovative entrepreneurs like Alex and Kat shaping the local dining scene and investing their creativity right here in St. Catharines. It was pretty fantastic, actually, to sit down and talk about the menu. Almost all of the seafood on the menu is locally caught somewhere in one of the 2 lakes. Almost everything. There was, I think, one dish that's sourced from elsewhere, but everything else was very close. I was also pleased to visit Erin Maxwell at her new business, Your Local Fitness Club, located at 66 Queenston Street, ahead of their official grand opening this coming weekend. The Church Fitness Club was created to be more than just a gym. It's a place where people feel supported, seen, and strong, no matter where they are starting from in their fitness journey, offering group fitness, personal training, and athlete training. Thank you to Erin for investing in St. Catharines. And we get to the what's coming up soon. Clean City Task Force is hosting a cleanup meetup in St. Catharines on September 20th at Mountain Locks Park at 107 Merritt Street and the Waterfront Trail at the north end of Lighthouse Road. Supplies will be provided, and you can check the city website, stcatharines.ca, for more info. On September 17th, you can join me and Councillors Greg Miller and Councillor Jackie Lindell for the Meryton Ward Town Hall, hosted at the Meryton Community Centre. The event will run from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., and we look forward to speaking to residents and learning more about concerns from folks living in the Meryton Ward. This week, the St. Catharines Fire Department Combat Team is hosting the 2025 Canadian National Fire Fit and World Championships from September 10th to 14th at the Seymour Hanna Centre parking lot. Qualifiers will be running Wednesday through Friday for individuals, Tech 2, and relay divisions. The finals will run Saturday, September 13th. That'll be individuals, and then Sunday, September 14th for the Tech 2 and the relay. The event runs from 10 to 4 p.m. daily. Admission is free. Come out and cheer on the competitors, especially the teams from St. Catharines Fire. And I will just say it is a pretty fantastic event. If you haven't seen the Fire Fit event at Seymour Hanna in previous years, really try to get down there if you have a chance over the couple days this week. These are the best in the country, and it is fantastic to watch them get through the course. That would take us, 4 or 5 minutes, and they do it in like 65 seconds. It's pretty incredible. And then finally, this weekend, I will be joining Team STC to participate in the Hope in Motion Walk in support of the Hotel du Shaver Foundation. Then on Sunday, I will participate in the Terry Fox Run in support of cancer research. If you would like to join our team or make a donation, you can visit the websites of each event and search for Team STC. With that, if there are any members of council who would like to add to the mayor's report, now is the time. Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to congratulate Phil Davis, St. Catharines' own. And if you have met Phil Davis at any of the Indigenous events, you will not forget Phil Davis. He was awarded the Outstanding Achievement in Empathic Traditions at the Indigenous Awards that were held on Friday. And it is a very much deserved award. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Mayor Sandra Easton, who was given the Alliance Award for her steadfast support of Indigenous relations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week, the St. Catharines Sports Hall of Fame Committee met. The induction ceremonies are coming up soon, and I'd like to congratulate the following people who have been selected to become part of the St. Catharines Sports Hall of Fame. Those people are Doug Fast, an athlete who participated in basketball and fastball, John Haney, who's a builder for youth in the city, Jenna Kramer, who's an athlete in fastball, excuse me, Chris Leach, who participated in rowing, and Melissa Murphy St. Onge, who's an athlete who was a figure skater. The event will be held at the Meridian Center October the 30th, beginning at 5:30. The presentation starts at 6 o'clock. Everyone's welcome to attend. It's always, it's in the actual Sports Hall of Fame area. So congratulations to those people, and we look forward to having lots of people celebrate with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Mako.
Our Port Dalhousie Royal Canadian Legion Branch 350 has a very special event coming up. I printed copies of the poster and put it on your council packages there. Their 80th anniversary celebration is coming up. They're celebrating on September 20th and 21st. There's a whole suite of events, but there will be a formal ceremony on the Saturday. That would be September 20th at 2 o'clock, followed by a complimentary lunch and then some live music. So kudos to all of our Legion members for doing such great work in our community. And yeah, it's time to pause and celebrate 80 years in Port Dalhousie.
Thank you, Councillor Mako. Councillor Miller.
Yeah, thank you. I've got a few. I'll try to keep it brief. I don't want to steal Mark Stevens' thunder, so I'll keep it to 4, I think. I just want to give a special shout out to Councillor Lindell and Meriton Lion Steve Yent for all the work on the fireworks. This year, I was sort of useless when it came to fundraising this year, but the two of them did a great job, and the fireworks were fantastic on the Sunday night of Labor Day weekend. I also want to mention Oper Brock and Positive Living Niagara recognized International Overdose Awareness Day last month, I think on the August 28th. The theme was Community is Everyone, and it did a great job of calling attention to something that's, is plaguing our community in many, which is overdoses and opioids. So kudos to them for persevering through the rain and some weather challenges to put on that event. One other note, St. Catharines Rebels basketball is starting up again. So if anyone has any youth aged 4 to about 18 that has any interest in playing basketball at any level, they've both house league and skills training and travel programs. So search for St. Catharines Rebels basketball, and registration is available now. And I believe most of the teams and leagues get started early next month. I did want to make a note. speaking of basketball, because I've held this in for 10 years, and as a River Lions season ticket holder, I'm very proud of the team. I will also note that I am the one who named the team in the Name the Team contest, and I was never given any credit for it. And I believe I have like privilege in the house here or whatever, so I can claim for the official record that I'm the one who named the team, and I'm proud of them. And you know, I'm over it that I didn't get recognized at the time. It's a great name and it's a great team, and congratulations to them.
Thank you, Councillor Miller. You had a number of city councillors patting themselves on the back in recognition of your hard work. Councillor Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. August 15th, with yourself and Deputy Mayor Phillips, we were at the floral display at Kiwanis to acknowledge Niagara Community Foundation's 25th anniversary here in Niagara, and they've been giving back on behalf of others for 25 years. And I can't sure, was it like $100 million, upwards of $100 million they've given away in 25 years? I think that was the number I heard.
That sounds
well. We'll go with that anyways because it sounded really good. But I think that's what it was. So, you know, people donate to this group and then they distribute it throughout the community. So they've been doing that for 25 years and upwards of $100 million back to the community. So that was very nice, and the floral display is beautiful there. So when you're driving down Niagara and Carleton, pulling into St. George's Ward, you'll be able to see that right there. So it's perfect. And also, we had yourself and myself, Crime Stoppers of Niagara last week initiated a new program called Drink Safe in partnership with the Niagara Sexual Assault Center and Brock University and Niagara College with going back to school. And it's the big thing was about spiking drinks. It's a big problem, and so they're having an awareness campaign, and actually any local bars and restaurants, you can contact the Niagara Sexual Assault Center, and they'll come in and train your staff to what to look for in spiking, and then you can get some signage and stuff to put up in your bar saying, hey, we recognize this, so hopefully it won't happen. And Crime Stoppers has also dedicated $1,000 guaranteed reward to arrest leading from spiking. A lot of times the arrests, the rewards with Crime Stoppers are depending on the severity of the crime. There's a program that picks the rewards, but they've chosen to come out with a $1,000 cash reward for leading to arrest anybody that's spiking people's drinks. So something to check out for local businesses, bar owners. Call the Niagara Sexual Assault Center, get your staff trained. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. All right, seeing no more, I will look to the clerk for the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is actually, it's going to be in regards to the agenda. I'm not sure if it's now I would flag it, but for consent in 6.3 and 6.4, council is asking to approve a vacancy on those boards. However, we don't have access right now to Sugar Sync to see who those names and who those people are. And, you know, if it wasn't, I don't see a memo that was sent out, but on our Sugar Sync, there's nothing loaded for tonight's meeting. I'm open to that, just Mr. Mayor, just to know who the people are.
No, for sure. The clerk is just taking a look, so if you just give us one second to see if there's an error in our system.
It's not there. None of us have it on ours, so. But Mr. Mayor, if we can go in camera and just get those names, that's fine.
We do have an in-camera item, so maybe we'll move those two items to the in-camera agenda so we can discuss them at that time.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not quite sure what happened there in the system, so. All right. So then the agenda has been changed and we're going to be moving those two items. I mean, they likely will be consent, but still in all, we do need to have that conversation. So we'll move 6.3 and 6.4 to our in-camera list. And now I will look to the clerk. Oh, wait a minute, Councillor Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'd also like to pull 6.1 for discussion. I have a few questions on it, okay?
That one had actually been pulled.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. So at this time, I'll look to the clerk.
There are no amendments to the agenda this evening, and the following items of additional correspondence were to have been placed in Council Sugarsing folder related to report LCS 126, appointment to Accessibility Advisory Committee, and 129, St. Catharines Downtown Association Board of Directors nomination.
All right, so motion to adopt the agenda as amended, Councillor Harris, second Councillor Stevens. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. The minutes, regular council meeting held on August the 11th. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes? Councillor McPherson, Councillor Kushner. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Any declarations of pecuniary interest this evening? Seeing none. Motion to move the consent reports. Item 6.1, the Veterans Crosswalk has been moved from consent to discussion. Councillor Mako and Councillor Townsend have made that request. And then, as mentioned, 6.3 and 6.4 are being moved to in camera. So with that, can I have someone to move the consent agenda as amended? Councillor Townsend. I'll now look to the clerk to call or to read the list of consent reports and call the recorded vote.
Today's consent agenda, item 6.2, Financial Management Services Administration, addition to the list of organizations fundraising activities for donation receipts, Royal Canadian Legion, Polish Veterans Branch 418, Polish Legion. Item 6.5, Planning and Building Services, Planning Services, 3 Elizabeth Street, notice of intention to designate a property under Part 4, Section 29 of the Ontario Heritage Act. And item 6.6, Planning Building Services, 143 to 153 St. Paul Street Crescent. Notice of intention to designate a property under Section 29 of Ontario Heritage Act.
Can I just ask who moved this one? It was Councillor Townsend, that's what I thought.
Okay, Councillor Townsend?
Yes.
Councillor Stevens?
Yes.
Councillor Dodge?
Yes.
Councillor Miller?
Yes.
Councillor Phillips?
Yes.
Councillor Retzlaff?
Yes.
Councillor Williamson?
Yes.
Councillor McPherson?
Yes.
Councillor Mako?
Yes.
Councillor Lindell?
Yes.
Councillor Kushner?
Yes.
Councillor Harris?
Yes.
And that, Mayor Cisco?
Yes.
That's carried.
All right, we will move into item number 7, which is the public meeting. The purpose of this public meeting is to ensure that sufficient information is available for the public and council to understand the proposed application to amend zoning bylaw 2013-283, subject lands 97 Hartzel Road, and to provide the public with an opportunity for input before council's decision. If a specified person or public body is defined in the Planning Act, or the registered owner of the land does not make an oral submission at the public meeting or written submission to council prior to council making its decision, they are not entitled to appeal the decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal. If a person does not make an oral submission at the public meeting or a written submission prior to the council decision, that person may not be added as a party to the hearing of any appeals by others without the permission of the tribunal. The public meeting will proceed as follows. We will start by staff explaining the application to amend zoning bylaw 2013-283, subject lands 97 Hartzel Road. Then the agent will speak and council will have an opportunity to ask questions. At that time, members of the public wishing to delegate were requested to register by 9 a.m. today. No one requested to speak. Those in the gallery that would like to speak will be permitted to do so after the consultant has made their presentation. The deadline to submit additional written comments not previously published on the council correspondence listing was 12 p.m. today, and no comments were received. At that time, the public meeting will be closed, and council will be able to ask staff questions and will consider the motion to amend zoning bylaw 2013-283, subject lands 97 Hartzel Road. The public meeting is now open, and I will call upon Alexa Cooper, the senior planner, to present.
Thank you, Mayor Cisco. Let's just make sure this clicker works. Okay. So good evening, everyone. My name is Alexa Cooper, and I'm here tonight to present staff's recommendation report for 97 Hartzel Road. The applicant has applied to amend the city's zoning bylaw by adding a special provision to the existing M1 zone on the property. The intent of this application is to permit special provisions to help facilitate the proposed 5-story apartment building. A bit of history of the recent applications on the site. In December 2024, consent and minor variance applications were approved by the city's Committee of Adjustment to permit the land to be severed and construct one 10-unit, 3-story apartment building on each property. In January 2025, the consent applications were withdrawn, and in June 2025, the city received a zoning bylaw amendment application from the applicant requesting to permit one 5-story, 30-unit apartment building over the whole of the property with no severances. Here's a location map of the site. It's located on the west side of Hartzel Road between Alexandra Boulevard and Burness Drive. It's about 0.21 hectares in size and has 30 meters of frontage on Hartzel Road. Here you can see a picture of the subject lands. They're currently vacant, but were formerly occupied by Wilson's Animal Center. Here we have the surrounding land uses. To the west is mainly low-rise residential, and to the north, east, and south, primarily commercial uses. The proposal is for a 5-story, 30 residential unit apartment building, and proposed are 32 surface parking spaces, which are located at the rear of the property. Here's the site plan for the application. The footprint of the building you can see is outlined in a thicker black line, where you can see a few parking spaces are inset on the ground floor, while the remainder of parking spaces are located at the rear, accessed by a driveway that runs under the building. Staff have evaluated the proposal against the policies of the provincial planning statement and the Niagara official plan, and have determined the proposal is consistent with and conforms to those policies as outlined on this slide. In the city's official plan, the property is designated mixed use in the general land use plan and is located within an intensification area. The property is also designated mixed use in the more specific district plan. This designation permits apartment buildings that support minimum densities of 100 people and jobs per hectare and generally do not exceed 20 meters in height. Staff have reviewed the proposal against official plan policies and are satisfied that the proposal conforms to the intent of the plan as outlined on this slide. The land's currently zoned medium-density mixed use with no special provision. The M1 zone permits standalone apartment buildings with a maximum height of 20 meters and a maximum density of 100 units per hectare, which is about 20 units on this property. The amendment requests to keep the M1 zone and create new special provisions. The applicants are requesting a reduction to minimum lot areas. Staff have no objection, as the lot is adequately sized to accommodate the proposed number of units. They have requested a reduction to the front yard setback. Again, staff have no objections, as it would add further variety to an already varied streetscape while maintaining adequate space to permit plantings and access for maintenance purposes. A request has been made to reduce the interior side yard. Staff have no objections, as adequate space remains for maintenance and drainage purposes, and it will not impact the adjacent property's amenity areas. A request has been made to reduce landscape buffers to parking areas along the interior lot lines. Staff have no objections, as adequate space remains for plantings to be accommodated within the proposed buffers, which will be secured through the site plan control process. A request has been made to reduce the parking ratio. Staff have no objection, as the property is within walking distance to two bus routes that operate during the week and into the evenings, in addition to weekends and holidays. Additionally, the property is within walking distance to commercial and community services, and the proposal will be comprised of rental units, which means there is greater operational control over the proposed parking supply. For the requested increase to the height maximum, staff recommend an increase to the stairway access and gazebo to facilitate the rooftop amenity space as opposed to a blanket increase for the building. These elements are limited in scale, set back from the front and rear building walls, and do not add additional living space to the proposal. The application was circulated to city departments and external agencies for review. Our CRCS department has no objection with the proposal, provided plantings are secured through the site plan control process, which they will be. Other commenting agencies and departments had no objections. An open house was held at City Hall on July 24th, 2025. We had 2 members from the community in attendance, and concerns received from the community to date include the proposal blocking the morning sun to the backyards of the properties located to the west. Shadowing is limited to early mornings. Adjacent properties will have sun access year-round. We received concerns about overlook into neighboring properties to the west from future residents. The property is set back 47.5 meters from the rear property line, which provides ample separation between the proposed building and the low-rise neighborhood to the west. A 1.8-meter fence and enhanced landscaping will be placed at the rear of the property to create a buffer between the uses, and this will be secured, again, through the site plan control process. There was a concern about insufficient parking. 32 parking spaces are proposed, which provides 1 space for each unit and 2 visitor parking spaces. A number of day-to-day amenities and 2 bus routes are within walking distance, in addition to the city's cycling network. The proposed number of spaces, in combination with the available amenities within walking distance, are expected to adequately serve the proposal. There's concerns about sightlines and increased traffic. The proposal includes 32 parking spaces, and our transportation engineering staff confirmed a traffic study is not warranted, as the increase in traffic will not affect the existing road network. For sightlines, transportation engineering staff again raised no concerns. Residents will exit from the building, and they have about a 6-meter space between the proposed front wall of the building and the sidewalk, where they can stop their car and look for oncoming pedestrian and vehicle traffic before exiting onto Hartzel Road. And finally, there were concerns about the removal of trees. And while the city does not regulate the removal of private trees, however, any shared boundary tree that is proposed to be removed will require written permission from the shared property owner to remove it. In conclusion, it's staff's recommendation that council approve the proposed zoning bylaw amendment subject to our recommendation regarding the height contained within the report. With staff recommendation, the proposal would align with the applicable provincial and local policies. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. At this time, I'll call upon Alicia Monteith, agent from Montera Planning Consultants, to present. Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor Cisco. My name is Alicia Monteith. I am principal at Montera Planning Consultants, and I'm here this evening on behalf of Ellie and Liam Quinn, who are the owners of 97 Hartzel Road. Thank you, Ms. Cooper, for your great presentation. I know that there's a lot of perhaps overlap between the two, so I'll spend the time focusing on the changes that we've made in response to comments that we've received, the ongoing consultation and coordination that we've been doing with the city, and why we feel like this proposal is the best use for the site moving forward. So again, the parcel is currently vacant. It is one large parcel, 30 meters of frontage, and many of the trees that we're talking about and that we're working with staff in the neighborhood on is particularly boundary trees. So the lands actually are generally flat, and there is 2 existing entrances, one of which will be removed and the other one will be reconfigured and reused for the entrance as proposed. Going through the planning policy, again, within the built-up area, it's designating mixed use. It's within an intensification area. Alexa had highlighted the minimum density of 100 people and jobs per hectare, which the proposal achieves. Moving towards a more animated streetscape, redevelopment, and intensification along the Hartzel Road corridor. And then the setbacks to support compatibility and redevelopment and appropriate intensification that's transit supportive. Under the zoning bylaw, it is medium density mixed use, which is the least dense mixed use zone. So it is typically 20 meters in height. It's not medium high and does not permit high rise structures. So it is also in turn then the most restrictive mixed use zone. The surrounding properties, as noted, are also zoned in the same M1, but there's also low density residential traditional neighborhood to the rear of the property. So the proposal before you this evening is one 5-story apartment building. It will have 30 purpose-built rental units, 10% of which will be deemed affordable units. There will be 4 studio units at approximately 450 square feet. There will be 13 one-bedroom units at about 640 square feet and 13 two-bedroom units at about 725 square feet. The proposal includes 32 vehicle parking spaces, 2 of which will be accessible parking spaces. They are proposing 11 bicycle parking spaces, 3 short-term, which are located at the front entrance off Hartzel Road to the main building, and 8 long-term spaces, which are secured indoor long-term bicycle parking spaces. As Alexa touched on, there is a proposed rooftop amenity space, which factors into one of the special regulations that we're seeking this afternoon. There's also at-grade landscape open space that's consolidated, located to the rear, and we are proposing a boundary fence, both along the residential boundary and to the mixed use to the north and the commercial to the south. As you can see from here is the concept site plan. We have been working with staff going through the site plan approval process, so there have been slight modifications that we've been making in favor of some of the comments that were received. One of the things I would like to note is that there is a just shy of 3-meter wide road widening, which is required from the front of the property. And so the 3 meters that we're requesting as the front yard setback is the post-widening dedication, whereas if the road widening was not required, and typically as it stands physically, the building will be located 6 meters back from what is currently the right-of-way. We do have some of the conceptual renderings. We've been working with staff again to find high-quality designs and materials, committed to supporting the local economy as well. I believe these are located in your package. So moving into the special provision. So the reduced minimum lot area for apartment building from 100 to 69 square meters is to facilitate the increase from about 20 units to 30 units. The reduced front yard setback from 6 meters to 3 meters is due in part to allow the building to be located closer to the front of the property and allow for more landscape buffer at the rear of the property between the parking and the residential to the rear, but as well to recognize the road widening dedication which is required. Then to reduce the interior side yard setback from 3 meters to 2 meters, again, is to allow adequate access and maintenance and grading along the sides of the property. The increased building height, that is predominantly because the stair, the rooftop stair and mechanical would typically be exempted from being included in the measurement of the building height. However, because we have a rooftop amenity space and need a universal washroom, that has become essentially building space that is not habitable, however, is now included in the overall building height. So. And then to reduce the parking, as we discussed, and the landscape buffer. So again, between the landscape buffer, there will be enhanced plantings that are provided, as well as fencing along each of the parking areas. So in conclusion, the proposal has regard for matters of the PPS, is consistent with and conforms to the planning statement, and conforms to and does not conflict with the official plan and the Garden City official plan. This will provide 30 new purpose-built rental units, 10% of which will be market affordable. And the proposal is an efficient use of existing municipal infrastructure. It's within a built-in area on an underutilized vacant lot within the identified intensification corridor. And we have appreciated the time and ongoing collaboration with staff to move through the review and approvals process. We've reviewed the staff report and appreciate the recommendation for approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have this evening.
All right, thank you for the presentation. Councillor Phillips.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. As far as parking is concerned, you have 32 spaces, 2 of which are going to be accessible. Are these parking spaces going to be, like, one be definitely assigned per apartment, or is it going to be first come, first served?
Through Mr. Mayor to the council member, the parking will be unbundled, so it'll be provided on a first come, first served basis, meaning that it's not assigned on a 1-to-1 ratio, but as needed as tenants require them.
Okay, because the concern is obviously there's no visitors parking. So, you know, you have 30 spots for 30 units. If you have a PSW or anybody else coming in or friends for the evening, there won't be any parking for them if the lot's full, which to me is a concern because I don't know where those people would park.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member, we definitely appreciate that. What we have seen in comparable developments in intensification corridors and on transit is that there isn't a 1-to-1 ratio. Typically, it's falling more at about 0.75 in this area, and as such, by the market standards, although we cannot necessarily control anything less than a 1-to-1 ratio, we do see that there will typically be spaces that are available, and that's how it will be configured. The bylaw, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Cooper, does not necessarily distinguish between residential and visitor, so the spaces will be flexible as needed and not necessarily refined specifically on an ongoing basis.
Okay, as long as it stays first come, first serve. And lastly, when do you plan on construction starting? We have a lot of lots. We've had a lot of presentations like yours recently, and we've approved them, but not an awful lot's being built. When do you expect a shovel in the ground?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member, that I'm happy to share that we're actually currently already site plan conditionally approved. We're moving through clearing some of the final conditions in the next few weeks, and we'll be submitting for servicing permit in the next 4 weeks. So we're looking to start construction as soon as possible and bring these units online into next year, next fall.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Phillips. Councillor Lindell.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I, for one, am going to be happy to see something other than a large lot as I drive by there every day. But I have a couple of questions, piggybacking on Councillor Phillips. If it's a free-for-all parking, first come, first serve, how are you going to handle residents if they can't park? Are they going to, have you talked to Wilson's Animal Hospital about overflow parking at all, or?
Through Mr. Mayor to the council member, to my knowledge, we have never mind. We have had, the owner has had discussions with Wilson's Animal Hospital next door. They have been a great partner through this project and working with us. So I believe that there is potentially a solution that could be found there if necessary.
Okay, that would be perfect. And my other question is parking lot lights. Will you make every effort so that the lights don't shine into the residences behind on Canterbury?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member, that is correct. So we have already completed a photometrics plan and photometric design that proves zero spillage onto any adjacent property, including the commercial, the residential/commercial to the north, as well as the residential to the rear. So we can confirm that that's the design that's in front of city staff for approval right now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lindell. Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. Just one quick question about the affordable units. Will the affordable units be studio units, or will they, I know there's only 3, but will they be a range of units, like different sizes for different, occupancy?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member, thank you for the question. The specific details of which units as dedicated is still under review, both with the city and some of the incentive programs that they do have around DCs in the provision. My understanding is that at least one will be studio, and perhaps we would look at a mix of both, or whether or not they do fall under all the studios is still to be determined.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor McPherson. Councillor Miller.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the presentation. Just a question about the height restrictions, maybe more out of curiosity. Was there any thought to making the building taller, or was the plan always this size, or was the size sort of based on the existing height restrictions that were in place?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member. So we were committed, or we are committed to the 5-story maximum height with residential not exceeding the 20 meters. It's actually at about 18 meters. So the introduction of that variance or specific regulation came to light when we chose to integrate the amenity space in the top of the roof. So there's no intention with staff We've discussed that no residential will be located higher than the 18 meters, and that we wanted to maintain the mid-rise design that the land use designation as well as the M1 zone originally had intended for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Miller. Councillor Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Ms. Monteith. It would be helpful if we could get an image of the east side or the front of the building on the screen. I don't know if it's possible, but there. So access to the parking out back is through like a passageway, tunnel arrangement, which is a little bit different. In terms of visibility for vehicles entering and exiting that, are you meeting our transportation department's expectations that it's safe, that there's visibility coming in and out? Because from the image, it strikes me it's a little bit tight, but yeah.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member, yes, we have reviewed the configuration with the transportation department, and there appears to be no questions or concerns. As Alexa had stated, there is approximately a 6-meter buffer between the front facade of the building and what you would get to is the actual sidewalk and curb, which allows enough space for a vehicle to come out and kind of view those sight lines. It is a two-way, so it is sufficiently designed with enough width for 2 cars to pass as per city standards. So in that regard, then it's our understanding that we're meeting the city's requirements for such a design.
And another question, you just referred to the setbacks out front. We've had some developers who after get site plan approval here and site plan, et cetera, that they balk at planting trees according to our plan. Is there going to be enough space out front to plant some decent sized trees that will mature into good size street trees out front?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member. That's a great question. So we are going through the landscape design and approval process. So a preliminary landscape plan was submitted for the ZBA, and now we're going through the revised design and refined design with city staff. There are a number of moderately mature vegetation that is proposed to be installed along the front between the sidewalk and the front facade of the building. There's also an existing boulevard honey locust tree, which we propose to maintain as well. So there will be several trees that will mature over time to be relatively large, as well as we are proposing some shrub plantings along the front facade of the building, as other than the main lobby entrance, there's no other entrances to those units directly along that space.
Okay, thank you. I said it with my last, but so your frontage aligns with the home hardware building just down the way, is it approximately?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member, I believe so, although I wouldn't know the specific measurement off by heart. I know based off of the aerial, yes, but I don't know the number.
It's relatively similar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson. Councillor Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, thank you for your presentation. My question is along the lines of similar to Councillor Miller, just understanding there was no appetite to go a little bit higher. And I asked that just because in locations like these are great locations where you can actually go a bit higher. It's close to transit. It's on a busy street. I'm just wondering, why this set on 5 and 0, zero interest to go a little bit higher just to get more units in the city.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member. Thank you for those comments, and we've definitely tried to consider what we could achieve in creating the right balance. And as we've found, parking is often the denominator. So to achieve any more units on the property, we would have to further decrease the landscape open space, which at this point we're meeting those regulations, and incorporate more parking, more impervious service. So we kind of hit this tipping point between the provision of the right amount of parking spaces based on the market studies that we've done, and the existing zoning, feeling that this was the appropriate development within the scheme of the client.
Thank you for that. My other question was just going back to the parking. I think in the first presentation with staff, I thought I had heard that there's going to be 2 visitor parking spaces, but you're saying there's no visitor parking spaces.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council member. So essentially, the bylaw does not dictate the provision of a certain number of required residential versus visitor. So what's considered when we're speaking with the site specific is that we're only required to provide a 1-to-1 ratio, but we're providing more than that. So essentially we're guaranteed the 1-to-1 for residential purposes, and then there's the 2 additional parking spaces above what we've sought that could be used for visitor or aren't factored into that ratio.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. All right, seeing no other questions, thank you very much, Ms. Monteith, for the presentation. At this time, does anyone in attendance wish to speak? All right, seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public meeting? Councillor Phillips, Councillor Dodge, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. The public meeting is now closed and council is called to order. Persons wishing to receive notice of council's decision should submit a written request to the office of the city clerk. Moving the recommendation, I have Councillor Miller. Councillor Lindell, did you want to second the recommendation on the board? Okay. At this time, any councillors who have questions for staff or wish to speak to the motion on the screen can do that. Councillor Miller.
Yeah, I guess to staff, just to follow up on my Councillor Townsend's question, why do we have height limits here, like in this commercial and intensification zone, and why are the height limits what they are now that we have them? Like, how did we decide on that particular number or height?
Through the mayor to the councillor, this corridor is one of several intensification corridors through the city. They're usually the main spine routes. And when we did the zoning bylaw back in 2013, that's when we established the 20-meter height limit that we have now. Generally corresponds to 6 stories. I think the thinking at that time were these corridors were typically not downtowns, not major commercial centers, but rather the linkages between them, typically backing onto low-density residential. So that 6-story height limit was established as, I think, a comfortable scale for sort of mid-block intensification within that context. Doesn't mean that more can't be considered where appropriate, but that is the baseline we're working with along this and other corridors throughout the city.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. I certainly would like to see us increase that and reduce parking minimums, but that can be a conversation when we're reviewing, if we're reviewing some of our zoning, because I would like to see more people living in these areas, and as Councillor Townsend sort of alluded to, it's ideally suited for that in terms of the infrastructure and the community that's there. So I know it's hard to do this on a case by case, but and I appreciate the proponent, wasn't necessarily looking to build taller, but in the future, if we have these sort of lots on Hartzel Road, I would certainly like to see us get as many units, particularly rental units, as we can on a site. And if that means reducing spaces for cars, then that to me is probably a win as well, as we need more people taking public and active transit. So anyway, I appreciate that. I will leave that conversation for another time though. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Miller. Councillor Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I certainly can appreciate the arguments that we could use some greater intensification here, but we should also consider the great cities of the world, Paris, London, Rome, and most of those cities are 5 to 6 story on average, and they achieve very acceptable densities and very good standard of living and lifestyle. So yeah, there is arguments to perhaps have this a little bit larger, but I'm quite comfortable with what it is. My question to staff would be in terms of the arbor plan, the tree planting, how do we ensure that the trees that we want to get planted actually get planted?
Through the mayor to the council member. Through the site plan application process, we're going to be registering Untitled Landscape Plan, and through that we will collect securities for all of the trees that are proposed to be planted. And once they are planted on property through the site plan process, we would give back the collected securities, and if for whatever reason they should not be planted, we have the opportunity to use the collected securities to plant them ourselves on the property.
Thank you. Is there a method to make sure that they're watered and that they actually get well established?
Through the mayor to the council member, we have about a 1-year time period before we will release full securities for landscaping. We hold it back about, I think it's about 20% to make sure that the landscaping does survive on the property and takes root. And if anything were to turn up dead within that time period, it would need to be replaced before we would release the rest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. And I do appreciate your endorsement of 6 stories on major arterials all across the city. I look forward to your aye votes on all of those planning applications. I too enjoyed, I will say actually, because Councillor Williamson raised it, it is quite beautiful what you can do with 6 stories in London and in Paris and across the world. So you don't need 30 stories everywhere. 6 stories does quite well if you put it in enough places. All right, seeing no further comments or questions, I will look to the clerk at this time to call the roll.
Councillor Miller.
Yes.
Councillor Lindell.
Yes.
Councillor Mako.
Yes.
Councillor McPherson.
Yes.
Councillor Kushner.
Yes.
Councillor Harris.
Yes.
Councillor Dodge.
Yes.
Councillor Williamson.
Yes?
Councillor Townsend.
Yes.
Councillor Stevens.
Yes.
Councillor Ratzlaff.
Yes.
Councillor Phillips.
Yes.
Mayor Cisco.
Yes.
That's carried.
All right, moving on to item number 8.1, presentation from the Ministry of Transportation, an update on the QEW Garden City Skyway Bridge Twinning Project. At this time, I will call upon Osaruman Agbogan, Design and Construction Senior Project Engineer, Ministry of Transportation, to present, and I will apologize if I butchered that name.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cisco. Good evening, Mayor Cisco. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before I start my presentation, you actually did pronounce my name very well. Very few people know how to pronounce it, so thank you very much. Like the Mayor mentioned, my name is Osaruman Agbogan. I am a Senior Engineer with the Ministry of Transportation. And I work with the Major Highway Projects Division. We deal on major infrastructure projects. And today I'm just going to provide a brief update on the QEW Garden City Skyway Bridge Twinning project for council today. Please, next slide. So just in terms of an agenda, I'm just going to go through more of an update. We're still very early in the project, so I'm just going to provide more of an update on the project and see how engagement can happen with staffs and also the public. Next slide, please. So the QEW is a major element in the provincial highway network that allows for the movement of people and goods. I often say that it is an important link to the Canada and the United States border crossing at the Niagara Falls and Fort Erie. And in recognizing the priority of this provincial highway to facilitate the efficient movement of people and goods, the ministry began exploring options to address what was then a structural and operational needs on the existing Garden City Skyway structure. In 2010, the ministry initiated an EAPDR study over the Welland Canal to address this long-term traffic structure and safety concerns. The environmental assessment was completed in the year 2017, and we were able to get clearance in April 2018. What followed through after that was a preliminary design, which was completed in the fall of 2019. As part of the recommendation of this preliminary design, the recommendation was to build a twin structure to the north of the existing bridge, as well as rehabilitate the existing bridge. For this project, we will not be talking about the rehabilitation because that will be on a separate contract. This project will be specifically for the twinning of the existing Garden City Skyway. The scope of the work will involve the construction of a 2.2 kilometer twin Garden City structure connecting St. Catharines and Niagara-on-the-Lake we are going to have in the ultimate condition, and I will explain further as we move into the next slide, for general purpose lane with wide medians and outside shoulders carrying Toronto-bound traffic. We will also, based on the new alignments, have realignments and reconstruction of local roads. There will be construction of stormwater management ponds. There's actually 3 of them to manage drainage on the bridge. And lastly, there will be relocation of affected utilities. And to the slide that we're in right now, personally for me, I'm a picture person, and I like to show a pictorial representation of how the phases are going to go. So for this slide, you can see in the top left, when the twin bridge is completed, we are going to have all traffic will be transferred to the twin bridge, both Toronto bound and Niagara bound, on the same structure. This will give us an opportunity to have a major rehabilitation on the existing bridge. Like I mentioned earlier, this will be a separate contract. And once that is completed, we will move to the ultimate condition, and that is what everyone will see at the final construction of the 2 structure standing side by side. And at that time, we will have 4 general purpose lane for the new bridge moving Toronto bound and the existing bridge Niagara bound. Next slide, please. So in terms of project milestone, before I just really get into the award, I want to make mention to Mayor and Council today that the Garden City Skyway will be the first progressive design build highway construction project in Ontario, and this will be in 2 phases. First phase will be the development phase, which is the design where we have a development company establish a detailed design package, and from which we will transition into the next phase, which is the implementation phase construction, where MTO will undertake contract administration, QA, schedule and cost controls. So just to really speak about milestones, on June 11, 2025, the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure Ontario announced Skyway Building Partners was awarded the development phase contract. To bring context to who Skyway Building Partners are, these comprise of Flatiron, the Gadros Canada, Green Infrastructure Partners, GIP, and Construction, the Material and Bed, CBD, with key design firms as Acadis Professional Service and GHD. This consortium form Skyway Building Partners. It is at this time, based on what has been provided to the ministry, proposed to take about 19 months to complete the design phase. And I really want to stress down to it that we are still on the design phase. Everything is still preliminary, everything is still in design. And we're hoping that once we go through this 19-month, we will identify the requirements necessary for construction. Also, we have had an opportunity, Skyway Building Partners, to meet with city staff as an introduction, just to introduce themselves, talk about the project, and also discuss approaches to move forward as we begin the design of this project. Next slide, please. In terms of municipal impact, I think the very key thing that I really want to pass down to Lord Mayor Cisco and Council today is that to accommodate the new twin bridge alignments, there will be realignment and reconstruction of municipal roads, including portions of Dieppe Road, Duncan Road, Bonton Road, and also relocation of impacted utilities. It is also expedient to know that modification will also be made on 2 existing QEW on and off ramps. That's for Dieppe and Dunkirk, and this will include the speed change lanes. I also want to establish that some of this road impacts are still being determined just based on the location of the piers, for example, Cushman Road. Also, some intersections and signals may be impacted by the detour, including Dieppe Road and Bonton Road, Middleville Drive North Ramp Terminal, and also Meadowville Drive and Lake Streets. But the ministry working actively with city staff as well as SBP, working to ensure that we minimize any need for detour routes and impact to intersections. Furthermore, in spirit of collaboration, the city has asked the ministry as part of this project to include the design and construction of sidewalk on Dieppe Road from Nielsen Avenue to Eastchester Avenue East, and also an accommodation of future multi-use paths on the west side of Bonton Road. Next slide, please. So in preparation for the project, I want to say that all properties required for the project have been acquired by the ministry. Some are undergoing demolitions, while some are still in progress. Nevertheless, there is still some requirements for PTs for city infrastructures, and we're working with city staff. We've been in direct consultation and involvement for more than 3 years now. Through the development phase, we will perform investigative work necessary to collect information to support the project. Some of those work will include utility locates, geotechnical boreholes, and investigations. Some of you might have seen SBP team on site taking boreholes. These are preliminary to ensure that we provide a design that will fit and be safe for the public. And in some cases, like I mentioned, workers and vehicles will need to walk on municipal road. We will do so in compliance with the law, safety standards, and ensure foot and vehicles have access and exits to their homes and businesses. Next slide, please. So we put this here just to show you in light of how we take safety as priority. In light of current approaches for bridge constructions, we've seen over the years collapse of different bridges. You can recall in 2001, the Queen Isabel Crossway in Texas that killed 8 people. And most recently in 2024, where container ships struck one pier of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland. It was accounted that there was 6 fatality. As such, the ministry is acting proactively to design and construct a pier protection system across both the existing and the new bridge. I want to acknowledge that this design will be based on latest design standards and codes, and will be able to resist the full impact of loads of vessels. Next slide, please. So in terms of communication with the project, this is one thing that we've heard from members of the public. How do we communicate with the programs? Currently, we have an active website for stakeholders and public to interact with the project team. The link is being shown on the screen right now. There you can find EA studies, preliminary drawings, and project updates. And we will continue to update the project as we move forward. Also, we have an opportunity in 2026. We are going to hold a PIC where we will give an audience for the public and folks to provide comments to the project, provide feedback. And as we always do, we will incorporate as much as possible. As the project also moves to the construction phase, we will, within the website, provide advance notice of road restrictions, such as lane closures. And also, we will work to keep access open to municipal roads and use strategies such as stage constructions, where we'll have one lane free or one lane accessible managed by traffic staff or flaggers to ensure that there is a free flow of traffic and pedestrian flow. Once completed, the project will have provided not only a new infrastructure to the area for the municipalities, but we strongly believe that this will really boost the businesses and residents within this area. Thank you so much. I know it was a very fast presentation, but we're open to any questions you might have.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Councillor Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. It was very helpful. I know certainly Councillor Stevens and I have been getting a lot of questions from some of the business owners that are located in and around that Skyway. The timeline, when the province is looking to begin and get shovels in the ground starting, it sounds like in 2026, is that accurate? And what does that timeline look like for building out?
Through the mayor, again, council members, thank you very much. So right now, based on what we have in timelines, like I mentioned in my presentation, the design is going to take 19 months. So we do not anticipate constructions happening prior to 2027. However, there is a possibility for some early works, but that is still under discussion. But one thing that we've really established with SBP and with all the team members is that we are committed to effective communication. Whatever we're doing, we will make sure that we have advanced communication to make sure that if there's going to be any impact, we are mitigating it. We are providing solutions and options as much as possible.
Thank you for that. My other question is, through you, Mr. Mayor, is lanes. We've heard many different. I've heard many different answers to it. When the Skyway, when it's built, how many lanes are going to be on each side for traffic? Is it? I've heard 4 and 4, and I've heard 6 and 6. Well, how many lanes on each side? And I'm asking that just because already now we see in the summer with the current Skyway how bad traffic can get. So just curious if it's going to be the equivalent size of that we would currently have, or is it going to be a smaller Skyway?
Okay. Thank you very much, through the mayor and council members. I just picking back to what I said, so there's clarity on my response. We are going through interim phase before we get to the ultimate phase. So I will answer in 2 parts. During the interim phase, we will have 3 general purpose lanes on both directions because we are going to be using only the new bridge to accommodate people moving from Toronto and Niagara. But once we have both bridges completed, the rehabilitation of the existing bridge and the new bridge, we will have 4 general purpose lanes. It's going to be more space. We believe, based on our traffic study, it's going to alleviate any traffic concerns, and there will be a visible difference once we have both bridges functional.
So thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. So for 3 or 4 years while this is being built, we're going to be down to 3 lanes on each side for traffic flow, which is already a nightmare for people to get in and out. So 4 years until it actually gets up to full size. I'm putting it out there just because it's certainly going to be a concern. And as the Thorold Tunnel was being completed, we all know the headaches of that when they had to close in one direction. So just something I think to think about. I'm hoping the province engineering team can, maybe add another lane. Again, I'm not an expert when it comes to building skyways, but it's certainly going to be, going from 5 each side to 3 is going to be certainly going to be an issue, especially when we see heavier traffic in tourist season. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the consultant, so the finished timeline to have everything, the new one built and the other one refurbished, is how many years projected again? Did I miss that?
Thank you, to the mayor and council members. At this time, we do not really know. Like I mentioned, the rehabilitation of the existing bridge will be on a separate contract. That procurement has not even started. What we know for sure right now is that the design of this new bridge will take proposed 19 months, ensuring that we meet all obligations as part of the EA study. However, we do acknowledge concerns that have been brought up. We will be strategically working to see how best, but at this time, we cannot really provide a timeline.
All right, thank you. And then once construction starts, there's probably going to be a lot of businesses affected by this. Is there any way that is there any compensation for businesses through the province that they can access? Because if they're going to lose business or you've closed roads, and is there anything to help the businesses while this is going on?
Thank you very much, through the mayor and council members. So at this time, we, like I mentioned, the design and what the effects to businesses are really unknown at this time. So it would be very premature for me to say that there's a specific thing we're doing. But like I mentioned, we are going to be in consultation with the public. We're going to be consultation with city staff, with members within that area, and we're going to have a PIC. And as we move further, as we determine what this effect might look like, then we can have some constructive discussion on what would be the best approach on it. So I believe we will provide more information as we move forward in design.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, seeing no further questions, thank you again for the presentation. Can I have a motion to receive the presentation? Councillor Dodge, Councillor Ratzlaff. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. So we will move on to our discussion reports. Before I do get to that, your sugar sink should be updated at this point, so information is now in your sugar sink. We have already moved items 6.3 and 6.4 to in camera, though, so we will deal with them briefly in camera before we come back out. 9.1 was moved from consent to discussion. That's engineering, facilities, environmental services, transportation services, veterans crosswalk. And Councillor Stevens, you were going to make that motion. And then do I have a seconder for the motion? Councillor Townsend. All right. So do we have any questions or, there we go, Councillor Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, one of the questions I had is in regards to, I know staff have been working with the Vine Legion, and there was an understanding that there would be a crosswalk done there as they open up the new Legion. I'm just wondering if staff can comment on that and if that is still the plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor. The design for the new crosswalk was approved by the Legion. We understand there was a request to put an additional crosswalk at that location. However, we have not made any commitments to installing that at this time.
So, Councillor, I'll add a little bit of additional context. The original motion was just for this one crosswalk. Additional sites have now been identified, and so they're all within the report. There's information related to those, but the general feeling was that this one could be accommodated now. But we need to get the policy that was subsequently asked for back because a lot of the groups have offered to do cost sharing, things like that. And so we want to have that policy in place before we start to move down that path. So that's why this report deals specifically with out front of City Hall, but those other ones will be captured in that report.
Thank you. Yeah, so essentially that was what I was wondering. If for next year or the year after, they could still come back and ask, yeah.
That is 100% the intention.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And just quickly, in consultation with Councillor Stevens, Councillor Stevens was willing to make a change to the recommendation. The number that's there is for simple, the name, traditional waterborne traffic paint. The issue with traditional waterborne traffic paint is that traditional waterborne traffic paint will wear off and relatively quickly. Staff have put into the report information about the thermoplast paint, which is what we have used in other non-traditional crosswalks. They allow the paint to maintain its look for a considerably longer time. If you head to the one on St. Paul Street, you'll notice that with the exception of the normal, driving over, it is still in very good shape. The colors are still there. It's very easily recognizable. And so Councillor Stevens was willing to make the change that if thermoplast is possible, it does come with a higher cost, but it lasts longer. And more importantly, it will continue to look the way it is supposed to look. So, Councillor Stevens, you were willing to make that amendment. So then can I ask, Orexi, can you change this that rather than the traditional waterborne traffic paint, we change traditional waterborne to thermoplast? And that we change at the estimated cost, $24,235. So, and I think if I could ask that the annual maintenance cost be referred to the 2026 budget reconfirmation process, so that will make up a part of my budget for the upcoming year so that we properly budget for this in the future. The important thing to keep in mind is that's an expected, Mr. Martuccio, is it every 2 years?
To you, Mr. Mayor, yes, it's expected the thermoplast should last 2 to 3 years.
So we know that it will last. I mean, based on our experience on St. Paul Street, we know that it's very likely to last longer than that. But one of the issues that we have concerns about, and other municipalities have experienced this, is when they go with the traditional waterborne traffic paint, the sidewalk wears off. And in a situation where you are trying to commemorate veterans, it is not a particularly good look for the community to have a crosswalk which is faded and looks like it's not being kept up, which is one of the concerns and the reason why the thermoplast has been put in place. Councillor Williamson.
Thank you. I'm looking at an email that was sent from staff that said that they're going to recommend crosswalks downtown Port Dalhousie and Meriton once the construction was done at Meriton, and that was from mid-August, August 13th. And 800 members at the Branch 350 of the Port Dalhousie Royal Canadian Legion are under the expectation, and Councillor Mako has been quarterbacking communications with them, that this was going to be happening. So
I believe Councillor Mako and I have found a solution for that, which will allow for something to be installed in the short term. But given that we want to do this properly and there is a road reconstruction project that is, well, or some form of resurfacing that's going to be coming to the area, we don't want to make the outlay for the thermoplast, which is significantly more expensive, when we could find a short-term solution in the interim.
Well, you know that I'm budget conscious, of course, and I want to see it done right. But this is mostly on Ann Street. Now it's kind of at the edge, and I gather 1 Main Street, which I hope happens soon. I have a request for report on that, since it was a year ago that Councillor Garcia and others and I, and you, thank you, Mr. Mayor, got the proposal changed so we didn't have the cockamamie idea of closing down Lock Street included. And anyway, I don't want to get off on that tangent because I'll talk to that separately. I guess we can talk about this, but we definitely want to see it happen, particularly before Remembrance Day.
So as mentioned, I think we found a solution to ensure that that happens. Okay. But it wouldn't be a part of this report, it would be a separate process. But I do believe that in that particular instance, given the 80th anniversary of Branch 350, the 100th anniversary of the cenotaph, that we're going to be able to find a solution for them as well. But I don't think it falls under this particular report.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Harris.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Director of Engineering. That amount, $24,235, is that annual? Because you just mentioned that it usually lasts for 2 years.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor, no, that is not annual. That would be the initial install cost, and then when we go to redo it in 2 to 3 years, there would be a similar cost to redo it at that point in time.
So that would...
So we need to change, yes, Councillor. Yeah. You've identified a typo in the motion.
The installation cost of $24,000.
Yes, but I'm going to ask that the maintenance, we change the final clause to the maintenance costs and take the $24,235 because we won't be allocating in every year. So simply that the that the maintenance costs be referred to the 2026 budget reconfirmation process. So we can take out the number and the word annual because they are not necessary in this case. Perfect. Thank you, Councillor Harris.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just to follow up on Councillor Williamson and Councillor, the quarterback from Meriton originally. Would it make sense to direct staff to, like I know you've worked it out, but would it make sense to direct staff right now that it's completed in time, their situation?
We have already had the conversation, so.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Mr. Martuccio, as far as the maintenance of the crosswalk at the Performing Arts Center, how much have we spent annually, would you say, to maintain that, or have we spent anything? I know initially it was defaced, but since then I'm not aware of any significant repair. Have we spent a lot of money every year on it?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the councilor, no, we haven't spent a lot of money on that. There might be times where we go and pressure wash if a car is leaving skid marks on it, but we've done that. I think the original install cost was about $16,000. Since the original install, we've had to reinstall it just this past year, and it was another $16,000 to reinstall it.
Okay, so it only makes sense to put something like this of high quality down, and instead of putting a $5,500 one down that's going to look poor and disrespectful to our veterans, then obviously we want to put something that's high class, and it's not going to cost $24,000 a year to put something like that down. So yeah, strongly support this.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I happen to be speaking with a colleague from Halton Hills, and one of his suggestions, because they're doing 2 Legion crosswalks this year, is to work with the community, perhaps in the Downtown Association. The BIA could look at how they could support future maintenance of this project. So I don't know that it needs to be added to the motion. Perhaps it could be, but looking to, are there ways to offset the cost through working with the community, different community organizations, to ensure that the future maintenance, like we have the money in the budget to maintain all of the crosswalks that have to do with veterans?
I think staff can take that as future direction. I will point out that's actually outside the catchment area. However, that may be a good conversation for the one that currently exists on St. Paul Street.
Right.
Excellent.
Actually, it's in the, Church Street is the boundary for the Downtown Association. So part of it would be.
Is it this side of Church Street?
It kind of goes both. No, it goes across the street.
Does it go across the street? Okay.
Yep.
Well, then we can have that conversation and staff take that as a direction. Councillor Stevens.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, the whole point is, like, you know, I've seen emails and different things from other people complaining about the cost. Niagara Falls had a crazy cost of a crosswalk recently, but the investment is you buy good materials and you put it down and it lasts longer. In the long run, it will pay off for itself. And I mean, and they're all special, but this, you know, with the veterans itself, yeah, we don't want something that's going to fall apart in a year or something like that and just look like, you know, a piece of crap. So it's definitely worth it. And I think, like you said, staff is coming up with a report on how we're going to do future ones and whether there's partnerships involved with other groups to help support the Legions and everything else. So I think it's a good move and we're moving in the right spot.
Thank you, Councillor. I do appreciate your very colorful language. Seeing no other comments, I will just add, I know, you know, there has been a debate in other municipalities. In speaking to staff and actually in touring some of the municipalities who have gone and have done this and seeing the different options, those municipalities that have chosen to do this with traditional waterborne traffic paint are seeing degradation of those crosswalks, you know, within months of them being put down. And from my perspective, if we're doing something to try and honor veterans in the community, we don't want something which people will look at in 3 or 6 months and be disappointed in. That's not the intention. So using the higher quality paint, as Councillor Stevens mentioned, as a few others have mentioned, I think is the right step to do the initial installation. I appreciate the work staff have done. I know they worked with the Legion on the design for the crosswalk because we wanted to make sure we were honoring veterans in an appropriate manner. And to be frank, I look forward to the policy that is coming back. I know the Deputy CAO and staff are working on that policy to come back because there are other groups in the community that have a desire to see something like this near their facilities. There are other groups in the community that want to commemorate different things that have happened here. And I think it's a good opportunity for the community to be able to do that in a way which is very public. So I look forward to that report so we can continue down this path, and I look forward to seeing this one installed in time for our Remembrance Day ceremony on the 11th with the parade that starts out in front of City Hall. And with that, I will look to the clerk to call the roll.
Councillor Stevens? Yes. Councillor Townsend?
Yes.
Councillor Williamson?
Yes.
Councillor Dodge?
Yes.
Councillor Harris?
Yes.
Councillor Kushner?
Yes.
Councillor Lindell?
Yes.
Councillor Mako?
Yes.
Councillor McPherson?
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Phillips,
Yes?
Counselor Retzlaff,
Yes.
and Mayor Cisco.
Yes.
That's carried.
All right, we have a couple of motions before we go to our in-camera. The first one is a special start time for the council meeting of October 6th, 2025. Moving this is Councillor Harris, seconding this is Councillor Kushner, and this is to accommodate the annual shareholder meeting for the St. Catharines Hydro, Inc. Councillor Harris, do you have any comments?
Nope, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Wonderful. I'll look to the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Counselor Kushner, Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
Counselor McPherson,
Yes.
Counselor Phillips,
Yes?
Counselor Stevens,
Yes.
Counselor Williamson,
Yes.
Counselor Townsend, Counselor Retzlaff,
Yes.
Counselor Dodge,
Yes.
Counselor Mako,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
and Mayor Cisco.
Yes.
That's carried.
All right, 10.2 is the motion to cancel a previously set meeting. Moving this motion is Councillor Dodge, seconding it is Councillor McPherson, and this is to cancel the budget meeting of September 15th so that the reports at that time can be accommodated through the September 22nd council meeting. Councillor Dodge, did you want to add anything? No? Right, I will look to the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Dodge,
Yes.
Counselor McPherson,
Yes.
Counselor Mako, yes. Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Counselor Kushner, Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
Counselor Ratzlaff,
Yes.
Counselor Townsend, Counselor Stevens,
Yes.
Counselor Phillips,
Yes?
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Williamson,
Yes.
and Mayor Cisco.
Yes.
Carried.
And the final motion for this evening is a special start time for the council meeting of September 22nd. Moving this is Councillor Miller, seconding it is Councillor Harris, and this is to accommodate the Municipal Development Corporation's special meeting of the shareholder. Councillor Miller, do you have any comments on this one?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Wonderful. I will look to the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Counselor Stevens,
Yes.
Counselor Townsend,
Yes.
Counselor Williamson,
Yes.
Counselor Phillips,
Yes?
Counselor Ratzlaff,
Yes.
Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
Counselor Kushner, Counselor Dodge,
Yes.
Counselor Mako, Counselor McPherson,
Yes.
and Mayor Cisco.
Yes.
That's carried.
Are there any notices of motion for this evening? Councillor Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just, we'll be bringing a notice of motion, a nuisance bylaw that will be something similar to what Vaughan has done in Townsend, BC.
Okay, thank you. And are you going to be liaising with staff to give them the information? Councillor Townsend? You'll be liaising with staff? Okay, wonderful. Any other notices of motion? Seeing none. Report requests this evening. I know I have a report request from Councillor Townsend and Councillor Lindell. Who would like to speak to that one? Councillor Townsend?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Lindell and I have asking staff to come back with a report on recommendations to make municipal rec facilities, that could benefit from additional safety measures, including not limited to bollards, and review include an assessment on types of bollards and associated costs. And I want to thank Councillor Lindell for working on the wording and on this, and looking forward to what staff bring back.
Okay. Are there any other report requests this evening? Councillor Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The process for beginning the reconstruction of Regional Road 87 started some 5 or more years ago. Regional Road 87 being Main Street, Lockport, and Lock Street. And it was just about a year ago that we went. And thankfully, the Public Works at the region agreed with us, and then the region as a whole also agreed with us. And now we've been waiting a year, and we seem to be treading water. So I would like an update report on when we can expect some action on Main Street. Main Street is not going to fix itself. It's in a very poor way, and it needs to be done. So an update report on what's happening with that, please. Thank you.
Okay, we'll ask staff to bring an update back to council. Councillor Townsend, did you have another request?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I've been receiving a lot of calls lately about the city and their need to step up and help some residents with rats. I know we used to have a rat rebate program, which wasn't really heavily used, but I'm asking to direct staff to report back Q1 2026 with what other municipalities are doing in regards to addressing rats and assisting residents. I know we did have the rebate program prior. We got rid of it because it just wasn't being used, but I've had a few residents reach out to ask if we can look into something like that. So I can send the wording, but yeah, just to direct staff to.
Okay, so a report back.
What is Calgary doing that we're not doing, kind of thing. Yeah, thank you.
A report back. Councillor Phillips.
To piggyback on what Councillor Townsend said, and I did have a brief discussion with the clerk before the meeting tonight, because I've had a similar concerns raised by residents. We do have one coming up, I understand, but it's just not rats that we should be concerned about. There's, what other cities are doing with whether it be coyotes or raccoons, something like that. Anything that's of a concern like that to residents, I hope is going to be part of the report.
Okay. Seeing no other report requests.
Can I, sorry.
Councillor Miller, I'm coming right back to you in just a moment. I just wanted to finish up on this section. All right, so I have no other report requests. So, Councillor Miller, did you have something under notice of motion?
Yeah, I just had a question. There was a lot of concern about a harmful billboard this week, and I know the mayor has said the city would be looking into next steps. I'm just wondering if, and I apologize for not connecting earlier or offline about this, but do we need a motion or something about that? Or maybe the mayor maybe could touch on what, if anything, the city's looking at doing moving forward.
So I know the manager of diversity, equity, inclusion was working on this, so I'll look to the CAO.
Through Mr. Mayor, I do believe we have an outstanding report on some similar issues, but we can treat this as a report request and bring something back to council.
Okay, I believe the manager was looking into options when we spoke last, which was Friday, I believe. So yes, staff will be returning with something.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, seeing nothing else, minutes to receive. We need a mover and a seconder for the minutes. Councillor Harris, Councillor Lindell, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And closed session, I will look to the clerk to read the reasons.
Motion to go into closed session for corporate support services, human resources, labor relations, 2024 negotiations, arbitration award regarding St. Catharines Professional Firefighters Association, Local 485, closed session pursuant to Municipal Act 2001, Section 239-2D, labor relations or employee negotiations, and item 6.3, filling of a vacancy for Accessibility Advisory Committee, and 6.4, St. Catharines Downtown Association Board of Directors nomination, Municipal Acts 2001, Section 239B, personal matters about an identifiable individual.
Mover and a seconder to go in camera. Councillor Townsend, Councillor Stevens, all those in favor? Opposed? Away we go. And we're back. Motion arising from the closed session. The first one is 15.1, that is Corporate Support Services, Human Resources, Labor Relations, 2024 Negotiations Arbitration Award. Moved by Councillor Miller, seconded by Councillor Williamson. I will look to the clerk to call the roll.
Councillor Miller,
Yes.
Councillor Williamson,
Yes.
Councillor Townsend,
Yes.
Councillor Stevens,
Yes.
Councillor Ratzlaff,
Yes.
Councillor Phillips. Yes. Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Mako,
Yes.
Councillor Lindell,
Yes.
Councillor Harris,
No.
Councillor Dodge,
Yes.
and Mayor Cisco.
Yes.
Councillor Kushner. I didn't see. That's carried.
Carried. The second one is the appointment to the Accessibility Advisory Committee. This is moved by Councillor Townsend and seconded by Councillor McPherson.
Councillor Townsend,
Yes.
Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Kushner, Councillor Lindell,
Yes.
Councillor Mako,
Yes.
Councillor Harris, Councillor Dodge,
Yes.
Councillor Stevens, Councillor Miller,
Yes.
Councillor Phillips,
Yes.
Councillor Ratzlaff,
Yes.
Councillor Williamson,
Yes.
Mayor Cisco.
Yes.
That's carried.
And the last one is the appointment to the Downtown Association, moved by Councillor McPherson, seconded by Councillor Ratzlaff.
Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Ratzlaff,
Yes.
Councillor Miller,
Yes.
Councillor Phillips,
Yes.
Councillor Williamson, Councillor Stevens, Councillor Townsend, Councillor Lindell,
Yes.
Councillor Dodge,
Yes.
Councillor Harris, Councillor Kushner, Councillor Mako, Mayor Cisco.
Yes.
That's carried.
All right, can I have a counselor to move the motion for the bylaws? Councillor McPherson, Councillor Townsend, all those bylaws listed to the council agenda as A to G be read a first time, considered and passed, and be signed and executed by the mayor and the clerk. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Additional bylaw A, be read a first time, considered and passed. This is with respect to the collective agreement. Mover and a seconder, Councillor Mako, Councillor Phillips. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And adjournment. Who wants to do the adjournment? Councillor Mako, Councillor Kushner. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Good night.